Sam, I found those distinctions especially clarifying. And let's talk about them now. You two agreed that a jihadist is someone who is trying to impose Islamic rule by violence, and an Islamist is someone who would like to see Islamic rule, but in a otherwise civil society, but does not want to go to a violent level. And then there are these other interesting gradations that are talked about in the book: conservative Muslim, moderate Muslim, liberal Muslim, and those terms are being thrown around today without an agreement on what they mean.
Yeah, that was a very clarifying part of our conversation. So just to further clarify that, we're talking about the problem of Islamism, the problem of political Islam, and a subset of Islamists are jihadists who are willing to use immediate violence to impose their agenda. And the crucial issue here is, as Majid pointed out, that the link between ideas and behavior, which is just denied across the board on what we're calling the regressive left side of the political spectrum, and those people who just followed Noam Chomsky off the edge of the world and believe that everything that is happening in the Muslim world is the result of U.S. foreign policy. There are no monsters in the world apart from ourselves or those we've made. We created the Mujahideen. We created Al-Qaeda. We broke Iraq, and therefore ISIS emerged. The Charlie Hebdo cartoonists were murdered because France treats its Muslim population so badly. I mean, this is pure masochism and delusion. There are a set of very illiberal ideas. We're talking about theocracy. We're talking about people who are opposed to gender equality, to gay rights, to free speech above all. I mean, the freedom that guarantees all of our intellectual and moral advances. We're talking about theocracy. We're talking about people who are opposed to gender equality, to gay rights, to free speech above all. I mean, the freedom that guarantees all of our intellectual and moral advances.
Should a president's faith matter? Should your faith matter to voters?
Well, I guess it depends on what that faith is. If it's inconsistent with the values, and if it's inconsistent with the values and principles of America.
We're talking about theocracy. We're talking about people who are opposed to gender equality, to gay rights, to free speech above all. I mean, the freedom that guarantees all of our intellectual and moral advances.
If it's inconsistent with the values and principles of America, but if it fits within the realm of America and consistent with the Constitution, no problem.
Sam, do you view Dr. Carson's comments as bigoted at all?
Well, I do. I think we have to distinguish between how we treat ideas and how we treat people. And what you hear in Dr. Carson's remarks is a kind of Christian demagoguery coming into the conversation. Frankly, he's not a very thoughtful person. I mean, here's a surgeon who doesn't believe in evolution. I mean, that is consequences of ideas.
I want to ask Sam this. Sam, do you think that Islam is inconsistent with the U.S. Constitution? As someone who studies this?
Well, it depends what you mean by Islam. Islam is a vast set of commitments and ideas, and you know, there are 1.6 billion Muslims on earth who hold to those ideas in varying degrees. Some nominally, and some are, you know, right next door to, or even right of, you know, Mullah Omar. The crucial case of extremism now is ISIS, or the Islamic State. Now,
so do you believe that Islam is consistent with the Constitution?
No, I don't. I do not. I would not advocate that we put a Muslim in charge of this nation. I absolutely would not agree with that.
Sam Harris, I wanted to get your reaction to Ben Carson saying that he would not vote for a Muslim for president. He doesn't think we should have a Muslim president.
So do you believe that Islam is consistent with the Constitution?
No, I don't. I do not. I would not advocate that we put a Muslim in charge of this nation. I absolutely would not agree with that.
Well, the problem with that statement, I mean, Ben went on to clarify it a little bit, and he walked it back, and it certainly, in the final analysis, seemed less bigoted than it first came out. But the problem with Ben Carson is that he is a Bible-thumping Christian demagogue himself. He's somebody who thinks that Charles Darwin came up with the theory of evolution because he was led there by Satan. I mean, this is not a rational point of view on world events or on science or any other topic of great importance. So, you know, Ben Carson worries me, but I think it's understandable that he views the world that way because he is a kind of Christian literal.
Islam Sharia law supersedes governing law. And unless you're willing to denounce Sharia law as the governing law over yourself and anyone you oversee, I wouldn't vote for a Muslim either. If there was a Muslim who I loved as a president and he wasn't willing to denounce the fact that Sharia law supersedes the Constitution, you got to say the Constitution's over the Sharia law.
You wouldn't vote for a Muslim? Would you vote for a Jew?
You didn't hear what I said.
Irrelevant.
If the Muslim was not willing to say that the Constitution supersedes Sharia law, then I couldn't vote for the man either, or the woman.
Nor would I.
Right.
Again, genuine bigots like Ben Carson, or even worse, like the person who stood up at Trump's rally, who was obviously a lunatic, obviously a bigot, should have been shouted down by Trump. Doing bigot. There you go. He's calling me a bigot on national television.
I didn't call you a bigot.
There you go. He's calling me a bigot on national television.
I didn't call you a bigot. Getting advice from Sam about Islam is like getting advice from Paula Deen about Black Lives Matters. You have to be kidding me.
There you go. He's calling me a bigot on national television.
I didn't call you a bigot. Getting advice from Sam about Islam is like getting advice from Paula Deen about Black Lives Matters. You have to be. I have
I'm
not.
absolutely
On Twitter,
not a bigot.
Go ahead, Dean.
Okay.